Good morning, everybody. This is AL-BINO. It's been about 2.5 months. So even smart people can get caught up in scandals. I'm still dating the woman in Colorado. However, I had to leave Colorado because she's innocent. Her youngest daughter is innocent. But there is a very large scandal that was pulled on her youngest daughter, and myself by her son and his wife. And I determined that it was best for me to return to Albuquerque, do some things to establish myself here, and work to get her and her daughter away from that scandal. And then once that happens, we're going to go ahead and probably press charges on him, because he pulled a real estate and civil rights scandal. Real estate scandal on his family, and a real estate and civil rights scandal on his mother, and actually my girlfriend's ex-husband too. So he's probably gonna have to. So I'm back in Albuquerque, and we're starting over again. And yeah, I've probably already said too much about it, but here we are. So we're gonna get some cigarettes and some coffee real quick, and then we're gonna talk this morning about some very serious and unfortunate matters. So come with me. Some coffee. Can I get this and a pack of LD menthol 100s, please? Greens.
$7.97 right there, bucks. Where you been out the whole time? You've been out there for a whole hour. Oh, so you weren't doing much.
Good. Oh, good coffee. Good coffee. I know. Gas station coffee. It's a truck driver thing. So, we're going to have some very serious discussions today because America is in very, very deep trouble right now. So, I'm going to give you a warning. Because Rudyard Lynch at What I Fault Hissed was right. And although his timing's off, it's worse than what he predicted. Okay. So here's the first thing. The news this morning. Elon Musk is going to step down in a month. Well, by the end of May, so let's give it 2 months. Okay? So, he's giving up. Why is he giving up? Because, and this goes beyond the protests at the Tesla dealerships and stuff like that. He's giving up because his life has been threatened. There is a credible threat against his life. And if he does not give up, he will be dead. Unfortunately, Elon Musk, we do thank him for what he's done. He's not a soldier, so he doesn't understand that oath and that level of commitment. So, there is a credible threat against his life and against several of his children. So, the United States, because of things like this, will be no more. I forecast by 2027, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But by 2027, this country will cease to exist. Now, you may have seen me raging on X about how people need to not be with us anymore. I have been suspended numerous times on X because of it. But this is not me saying I'm going to go do these things myself. But there's an old saying in the movie, or there's an old saying. Well, actually, it is an old saying, but it was used in the movie Roadhouse. I know. There's a saying in the movie Roadhouse called "Be nice, be nice, be nice until it's time to not be nice." President Trump was hired to be Augusto Pinochet. Okay? These people that are doing things like what's going on with the Tesla dealerships, what's going on in the government pushing back against him, okay? They should be arrested. They should be facing military tribunals for treason, and they should be being executed. Even down to the registered Democrat voter. It should be. That's what he was hired to do. He didn't come right out and say it per se, but that's pretty much what he was promising to do, because he knows that if that does not happen, that this country's finished. So, I have been razzing the shit out of him, calling him gutless, ballless, trying to prod him to push the people under him to get things done. Okay? Been doing it the last several weeks. I've been using very strong language. I even told him that if he can't get the job done on X, that he needs to step aside and just let whatever happens happen. Rudyard Lynch last year, in 2023, predicted that America will have a civil war. He was fairly confident about it. After the election, I came up and I said, you know what, the guy's right. Here's how, but I think his forecast is a little off. I'm still going to go on an extended forecast, but I know for certain now he's 100% correct. His forecast is 100% on. Donald Trump cannot get this done. It's not because he isn't trying. Him and his staff cannot get this done. They can't. So by 2027, this country will come apart. I have called for the arrest, the trial, and the execution, specifically for Democrat politicians in New Mexico, because they are nakedly and boldly committing acts of treason. They're not even ashamed of it anymore. That's not happening. And I don't think it's because he doesn't want it to happen. He sees what goes on here. He knows. Okay? Colorado's the same way. As a matter of fact, the can of worms that we uncovered in Colorado happened because of stuff like this. Okay? I want to be very clear. My girlfriend, her youngest daughter, and I believe her middle child also, but I am really confident her youngest daughter, and actually her ex-husband, are innocent people. Okay? My girlfriend and her ex-husband came here on legal work visas. They are legal green card holders. They unfortunately, because they are immigrants, they're not what would be like me going into Mexico, or I shouldn't say Mexico, into a third world country and being taken advantage of because I didn't understand completely how people maneuver the legal system and everything else. Okay? But because things have become so lax, I shouldn't say lax, but perverted, and good is evil and evil is good in this country, in the last, specifically, 15 years, since 2009, the individual who did this, actually the individuals, there's two of them, who did this, are able to do this because we don't have law and order in this country anymore, specifically in the state of Colorado. And also, shout out to Nick Johnson and his video on Albuquerque. I did one about a year and 2 months ago, and mine was a little bit more thorough, but he's got a bigger following. Thank you, Nick, for shining a light on this. I want everybody to go check out Nick Johnson. Yes, his voice is a little annoying. His cadence is, for a Gen X guy like me, it's hard to follow, but you know, that's Nick. That's just the way he is. He is a millennial, a younger millennial, so he does kind of have a little bit of that culture rub off on him a little bit, but the guy does good work in spite of it. So Nick Johnson on Albuquerque, New Mexico, you guys need to look that up, because we have a major city in the United States that's rated worse than Tijuana. That's rated worse than Medellin. That's rated worse than Caracas. That's rated worse than the capitals. It's rated worse than Lagos. You understand that? Denver's on that list too. Oh yes. So is Chicago, Baltimore, Washington, D.C. And the funny part about it is 15 years ago, this was a beautiful, wonderful, amazing city. That quick. We could go to Atlanta, same thing, right? So, Elon Musk stepping down is a sign. Now, Trump, if you let these people do this, you're showing your hand. You lost. Okay? This cannot happen. Trump, if you are listening, Tom Homan, if you're listening, Pam Bondi is the rat. You guys need to fire her and put Nick Freitas in that office. Or you need to move Kash Patel into her seat and put Nick Freitas in that office, in Kash Patel's seat. But I think it's too little, too late. So here's what the United States is going to look like by 2030. The Republic of Texas. Texas will absorb, well, when Texas secedes, it will take with it automatically Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Arizona. Automatically. Okay? It will also absorb Kansas, Nebraska, the Dakotas, Wyoming, Colorado, possibly Montana and Idaho. It will also probably absorb Arkansas and Louisiana too. Maybe Missouri. That will be the Republic of Texas. When it does take over, things are going to change drastically in New Mexico and Colorado. Governor Hot Wheels, if he's still in charge, which I don't think he will be, but if he is, I think there will be a leader in Texas that will succeed him. That will be a lot more forceful. I don't know who that individual is yet. I have some ideas, but I can't call it. If Governor Hot Wheels is still in the seat, I think he will be unleashed. I think for what's New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, he will probably put those regions under martial law until they're cleaned up. All military assets in those states will automatically become the property of Texas. And oh boy, that is going to be a huge win. I'm in the position to know that most of the military assets that mean anything outside of Fort Campbell and Fort Bragg, which some people call Fort Liberty, that's in Texas. Or New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Utah. Actually, Utah will probably become part of the Republic of Texas as well. Actually, Utah will be. Okay. So all of the Four Corner states, probably all of the mountain states. Nevada will probably go to California or be split down the middle. But anyways, yeah, that's going to be the new military superpower on this continent. The plan was, by the Trump administration, to go in hard, and he did initially, and to start rounding traitors up. He was going to be the Pinochet. That was the plan. But he balked, and now we're starting to see people fall away. Why did he balk? Well, let's look at Pam Bondi. He's got rats. He did his best. He's got rats all over the place. Here's the thing about a swamp. Believe it or not, in New Mexico, there's quite a few swamps here. So, as a kid growing up, I know this very well. I've lost several pairs of boots in the swamp. There were times when I thought that I was going to get stuck and drown in the swamp because, especially during wet years, because if the swamp is too deep, it will suck you down. That's what's happening. It cannot be beaten. And as Patriot Nurse said 2 years ago, this country will balkanize. The largest part of it will be the Republic of Texas. Like I said, it initially will start out with Texas claiming their, by treaty, historical rights, that if it does pull away, it gets, and it will be a fight, it gets the entire Southwest from the Colorado River east to the Sabine River, and south of the Mason-Dixon line, which is 36 degrees, 36 minutes north. That's Raton Pass for anybody who knows anything, or the Arizona-Utah state line, or the Oklahoma-Kansas line, but in the Arkansas-Missouri line. But after that, most of the Mountain West and most of the Midwest west of the Mississippi River will either by force or by willingness. So, for example, Nebraska and Kansas will raise their hand and sign up. So will the Dakotas. Wyoming too. Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona will have to be conquered. That's going to happen. Utah will come along. So will likely Idaho or Montana, but that will be the Republic of Texas. And that's where most of the military might of the United States, most of their valuable assets are located. Outside of two important army posts in Kentucky and North Carolina, Parris Island, Norfolk, and San Diego. They'll try to block us at Galveston. But the Republic of Texas will also gain all of the border states of Mexico, all of them, because the people in northern Mexico are sick of the shit too, and they'll join us. So Nuevo León, Tamaulipas, Guajira, Chihuahua, Sonora, they'll become part of the Republic of Texas too, willingly. They will leave Mexico for that. So Mexico will also come apart. See, I told you that the Trump presidency would also, not only if it was successful, which it's not going to be, but also empower and secure and solidify Mexico and Canada too. But the British Crown has decided that they're not going to negotiate with us, and they're going to go the other way. Oh, by the way, Great Britain, you will lose your territory of Saskatchewan and Alberta to the Republic of Texas. They will become eventually part of that new republic as well. That will happen. Manitoba will be part of, will join Minnesota in what will become a Marxist state, which will include all of the upper Midwest, the Northeast, and the American East Coast, down to the North Carolina and Virginia border. The Republic of Tennessee. If Arkansas, Missouri are not, and Iowa are not absorbed into the Republic of Texas, They will become part of the Republic of Tennessee, along with Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, North and South Carolina, and Kentucky. Possibly Ohio, but I see Ohio being overtaken by their surrounding states as well as Pennsylvania. Those will be lost. West Virginia will possibly, I don't know. Unfortunately, West Virginia, as stalwart as it is, I think it'll also be absorbed in that morass as well. So, the United States, what the core of the United States was meant to be by the founders, by the U.S. Constitution, and was meant to be preserved by Abraham Lincoln, Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, Warren Harding, McKinley, and Coolidge, will be two republics, the Republic of Tennessee and the Republic of Texas. And possibly the Republic of Texas will expand into Saskatchewan and Alberta. But that's how that will look. The People's Republic of California will include British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, California, possibly Baja, Mexico, Alaska and Yukon will probably revert back to being Russian territory. Unfortunately, sorry. I know. Yukon and Alaska. Great folks up there. But unfortunately, that's probably how that's going to go. The northern tier of Mexico, from the Colorado east to the Gulf of Mexico, maybe even as far down as Durango, will be Texas. Mexico will still exist, but it will absorb, while it loses its northern states, it will absorb Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, possibly El Salvador, maybe Panama, or Panama will go back to Colombia. But unfortunately, it will be a puppet state of the Chinese. The northeastern states, from Minnesota to Illinois, or actually include and provinces of Canada. So we'll go Northwest Territories will probably be even split. Eastern half going to the Russians. I'm sorry, the western half going to the Russians. The eastern half going to either the Danes or becoming part of what's going to happen with Labrador, Newfoundland, Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana. Sorry, Indiana, you're going to get swept up. Ohio, you're going to get swept up too. West Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, New York, Pennsylvania, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, which the island is part of Labrador. Actually, Labrador is Newfoundland, but anyways, that's probably going to revert back to the British Empire. All of it. You will no longer be an independent commonwealth, but you will be directly under the crown. That's what King Charles was talking about. That's what he's got outlined for his son. Everything south of that will be part of the Republic of Tennessee. And Nashville or Atlanta or New Orleans even will be the capital. Maybe Jacksonville. So that's what's getting ready to happen. The Trump organization is failing, not for lack of trying, but they cannot arrest these people. They cannot go through these voter rules and start rounding up and giving these people from the bottom all the way to the top military tribunals and the traitors and seditionists execution as is outlined in the Alien Sedition Act of 1798. Can't do it. And now you're seeing people like Elon Musk putting up their hands and backing away. So, Rudyard Lynch, Patriot nurse, unfortunately, you are correct. You have just witnessed, unfortunately, the death of the United States of America. So, what is my recommendation? If you are a patriot, you know where you need to go. You know where you need to fight, geographically. I'm sorry I have to bring you this news. But within 10 years, it's all over with. The map is going to change. Chuck Missler, before he died, made a point to mention in a lot of his briefings and discussions that people ask him where the United States is in end times prophecy in the Bible, because I do believe that we are in those days. And several times he postulates that it will be either greatly diminished or he doesn't have an answer. The patriot that he was, I believe he knew the answer, but he just could not tell the audience what it actually is. I'm telling you his answer now. And it's not a good one. Unfortunately, the dreams of Abraham Lincoln cannot be realized. not as he wished it to be. This is AL-BINO, signing out.